Yo, what's up guys, I'm Yanick from the Producer School and today I'm going to show you how to make Future Rave like David Guetta and Morten. This new genre was made popular by David Guetta and Morten and is said to be a new wave within the dance scene. With that being said, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and let's get straight into the video. We made a Serum sound bank called Impulse, which contains over 100 presets for Serum in the style of Future Rave. In there you will find leads, basses, synths and plugs that are ready to be used in your own Future Rave tracks. If you want to check out the pack and support the channel, then click the link over here or use the link in the description, and any support on our packs is always appreciated. First of all, you want to start with a repetitive melody like this one. There are lots of different melody styles that you can use for a Future Rave, but for this one I'm using the typical Morten style melody, which stays on one note, which is the root note of the track, with like the bass for the melody. And you can start with a rhythm like that and try to create a combination of faster and slower notes, like these fast ones. They give like this trippy and futuristic effect. And then you can start playing around with other notes on top of it, like this. To get that Future Rave vibe, you can go and put the note one octave higher. So from a G3 it would go to a G4. And then go one semitone up, so G sharp. And this gives it this dark sound of the melody. Basically the whole melody is following the same rhythm of the first bar. The only thing that's changing are the last two notes over here. So normally it would be a D sharp and a D, but right now over here it's an F and a D sharp for some variation. And then at the end of the first four bars it's going up. And then once again at the end of the 8 bar it's going up even higher. For the melody I'm using this preset called Make It, which is one of the presets of the Impulse Serum sound bank that I already talked about. And it's the generic Morten lead, which consists out of 2 saws and a lot of white noise. And some effects like OTT, EQ and reverb. I put a bunch of effects on it, which makes it sound like this. And you can definitely tell that it's making a huge difference to the sound. First of all, I added this EQ, which gets rid of the low frequencies and adds a bit of the like mid-high end frequencies. Then OTT for multiband compression. There's already an OTT in Serum itself, but I wanted to be even more like sharp, so I added another OTT. Then there's reverb on the sound controlled by a P controller, which gives it the sidechain reverb effect. As you can see, the wet button of the reverb is moving really fast, and that's because of the P controller, because this slider is linked to the P controller, which means whenever a note is playing, the wet signal will go down, and when there's no signal coming in anymore, the wet level goes up, which makes it go really fast and gives it the sidechain reverb effect. This is a trick that's not only used in Future Rave, but also a lot of other genres, and it can just help to make your reverb sound more clean. Then there's another EQ, which is probably used for a filter later on in the track. Same goes for the phaser, which gives this effect. That's also used with an automation for some variation. And then there's a kickstart for sidechaining on it. Now I'm going to move on to the bassline of the drop. It consists out of 2 layers. The first one is the sub bass. And the other one is a more like tom bass. The bass follows the same rhythm as the lead melody, except there are no like really fast notes in there, but it's just the basic rhythm of the melody. And a bass like this really helps to give the track some more groove. You will hear that even better when the drums are there. There are some effects on this sub bass. It's just a basic sine wave actually, like that. There's an EQ on it to get rid of like the high end. And a camel crusher to add some more harmonics to the sound back again, so it's better hearable on like devices like phones and laptops and stuff like that. And then there's a kickstart for sidechaining with just all the way up the mix to 100%. And then the second bass is the plug or tom bass. With an EQ I got rid of the low frequencies because I wanted to leave them for my sub bass. And I also got rid of a little bit of the high end because I thought they were a bit too sharp in there. And then there's a Fab Filter Saturn for some saturation, which does a little something to the sound, and a kickstart for sidechaining once again. Then there is this synth step, which sounds like this. And together with the other elements, it consists out of two layers. The first one is this really like growly and gritty bass, but it doesn't have any low frequencies in there. And then the second layer is like a big super soft, a lot of distortion. Really cool sound. There's some mixing and processing going on this bass sound. Only an EQ to get rid of the low frequencies and a sidechain like always. And for this super solid, it's the same thing, just removing some low frequencies, and I'm also adding a bit of mid frequencies because without it, it sounds like this. And with. And both of these layers for the step go into this bus, which goes for the reverb. It's a Valhalla Room, really great plugin for reverb. It has a pretty long decay, like 2.7 seconds. And a mix around 25%. And I wanted to get the big reverb because it's a step, so you really get that like big room vibe. That's that for the synth or step sound. Let's move on to the drums. There's a kick playing. Really punchy progressive house kick from one of our sample packs. You can use two types of kick in Future Rave. That is a really punchy kick like this one. Or you can use a big room kick with a tone in it, so you can use it as more like melodic element of the track, which you can hear a lot in big room. Then there's this clap loop to fill up some space in the track. At the beginning of the bar there's this white noise, and together with the synth it sounds really great. Adds a lot more energy to the sound, and that's what I wanted. And then there's this like down lifter, really simple, which also has sidechain on it. And at the end of every 4 bars there's this clap fill or snare fill, like that. To create a transition between the first and second part of the drop, there's this uplifter. Just a basic wide noise uplifter. A really cool glitch effects, which also add this like futuristic vibes to the track. And the clap fill or snare fill once again. In the second part of the drop there are a few more elements coming in. For instance, this hi-hat. A clap. A tom to add more groove and rhythm to the track. Reverse tom. I also added this impact to add some more energy to the track, which is basically a clap with a lot of reverb on it. And then there's this like snare loop, which is also a sidechain on it. And then there's this like down lifter, really simple, which also has sidechain on it. And then there's this like snare loop, which is also a clap with a lot of reverb on it. And then there's this like snare loop, which is also a clap with a lot of reverb on it. And then there's this like snare loop, which also helps to give the track more energy and like build it up towards the end of the drop. And last thing I want to show you are the automations. There is this phaser automation at the end of every 4 bars for the lead, which controls the mix level of the phaser. Really cool effect. And then at the transition part there is this EQ that filters out the low frequencies, like here. And that gives the listener the idea that there's something coming, which is the second part of the drop. And also the kickstart is turned off in this part and goes back on whenever the second part of the drop hits. That's it for this Future Rave drop. This is the final result. If you like Future Rave and you would like to see more videos about it, then please let us know in the comments so we can cover different topics of Future Rave in the next videos. Check out our Future Rave sound bank for Serum called Impulse, which has a lot of cool sounds that I used in this video. It has over 100 presets with leads, basses, synths, plugs and more. And if you want to check it out, then go to theproduceschool.com. For now, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.